Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spiegel Mom Scraps channel. It's Caitlin here with another process video. Don't forget to use my code Caitlin15 for 15% off your order. Today I'm doing another fun shaker pocket card. I guess it's not a pocket, but a shaker layer card. And I'm also featuring this paper stack, which is new to me, but I think it's called Botanical Breeze. Maybe not that, but I'm going to do some fussy cutting, which is not my favorite thing. So I'm glad I finally got into that trend and started doing some because it's a really great technique that I should use more often. And I just cut all the fussy cutting out because that's annoying to watch in my personal opinion. So I fussy cut out some of those flowers from that dark gray blue paper. And now I'm adding my photo onto some light wood grain paper to contrast with the background a little bit. I'm also using some papers from the Crepe Paper Notes and Things 6x6 paper pad, which is one of the things in my stash, or my bashing stash kit. You pick 15 items from your stash to use on a layout, and I use some of those on my layout today. It's just to get your stash going, to have those couple little things you're trying to finish in there. So I'm using a bunch of those items today, including that wood veneer tag I pulled out, a pink sticker I pulled out, and some other items which you'll see later on. I'm going to ink all of my little roses and floral pieces that are the same color as the background with this Spun Sugar Distress ink, which is a very, very light pink, and it sort of matches them really well. So I have a doily out as well, and that is from Spiegel Mom Scraps as well. Now, here's where the shaker layer comes in. I did this in another process video, but essentially I'm taking the sequins that I really love that match this color scheme, and I'm putting them inside the bag the sequins actually came in. So when I get my sequin orders, they come in a little clear bag, and they're perfect to make these layer pockets. They're perfect size and everything. So next time you order from Spiegel Mom Scraps, save the bag and use them for one of these layouts. I'm using a bunch of sequin mixes. I'm using Baby Butterfly, Confetti Cake, some Silver Stardust, which is no longer available. I believe I'm using He Said, She Said, and then maybe a couple flowers out of Sweet Things, and then I think I used the gold and orange sequin mix, which is called Golden Summer. I'll have them all linked down below if you're interested in a specific one, but I'm just using the wood veneer tag to throw them in there more easily, like a little funnel, little shovel actually. So I'm just putting a bunch in there, and I don't want to put too many in there because I know a lot of this plastic will actually be covered up by my photo because it's going as a layer under my photo. But as you can see, it's a beautiful mix that I've put together here, and there's little stars I added. I just think they add a little bit more twinkle. So now that I have the shaker pocket roaming, I'm going to be able to have that visible on the left and bottom sides of my photo, which is really fun. And if you've never tried one of these before, I highly recommend it. It's the easiest way for me to do a shaker pocket, shaker layer, shaker element on a layout. Besides getting with all the foam and the tapes and the nonsense, this is just the easiest way for me to do one, especially since I don't own any of the tools like a sewing machine or a fuse tool to make a normal shaker pocket method. So now that we have that layered down with the rest of the layers behind the photo, and I have my doily ready, we're going to start picking out some embellishments. So I have my little cut aparts here, and I'm starting with those because if I cut them out, I want to use them, and I do end up using all the ones I cut out, which I feel like it'd be a very pet peeve of mine if I cut out a whole sheet of them and then I didn't know how to store them afterwards, so I'm glad I only cut out a few. But I'm going to start by gluing down my large doily, and these are the best doilies. They're just the perfect intricacy. They're not too hard to work with. They don't stick together too badly like some doilies do. There are some doilies that stick together so bad, and then you rip them and then they're not usable. But these ones are great. Again, I'll have them linked down below if you want to pick them up from the Spiegel Mom Scrap Shop. And now I'm gluing down the florets that I cut out, and I did cut out some of the leaves that match, and most of those had the dark navy background with them compared to the roses, which didn't really have a background left. So I'm definitely going to have that contrast there. Here I'm using a tiny strip of washi tape, which I throw it away, but I do bring that back later on to use. And now I'm looking through some of the other bits I have that pulled out for this layout, and some Pink Fresh leatherette stickers from the Dream On collection are the first things I picked. And now I'm going to layer in a couple more flowers, and while I do that, this is a very interesting layout. I've had this photo printed for a couple months now, and I'm always dreaded doing the page because I want it to live up to the feelings that go with this photo, and I think I achieved that. Right now I'm going to stamp with a gray ink, which I believe is called Seattle Sky by Colorbox, and it's for this stamp that says Counting Blessings, I think. It's from Heidi Swap, and it's just in a light gray ink. And I've been trying to stamp more on my layouts. And here's the stamp set up close. That didn't last very long, sorry about that. I'm still getting used to my camera's focusing abilities. If you haven't heard, I got a new camera, which is hopefully better quality, and if you guys see a difference, or if it's annoying, let me know if you see anything different than my previous videos. But it's a really new camera, and I'm really excited about it. Here I'm using a Pinkfresh Studio chipboard piece. I'm not sure which collection it's from, but it says Head Up Gorgeous, which I don't normally call myself or encourage myself that way, like verbally or anything. But I just thought it was cute to put on. And if someone were to see this later on, I think they'd have the same mentality. So we'll see. But here's where I'm starting my title. I thought about using these dark green letters from Flora No. 1 collection by Cartabella, but I go for some gold thickers instead. And like I said, this layout was very hard for me to do. I don't scrapbook a lot of hard things. I'm getting more into it as I go on, but it's still hard for me to scrapbook hard things. So this was one of them. This is when I moved out of my childhood home to move to a new state. So I was the first one to move away from family when I got my full-time job. So it was a very emotional day. Had to say goodbye to my house, and all my stuff was packed up, say goodbye to the animals. But, you know, looking back at it now, and that was last year, so it's been a while, but I don't live there anymore. I'm back in New York, near home, so it's funny how life works out. But I wanted to capture this moment now while I still had those feelings left of this day. So I ended up calling this Emotional Goodbye, because I thought it was a goodbye, but it wasn't, so that's good news. So here's my title working out. I need to use my T-square ruler to line that out. If you guys don't have a T-square ruler, I highly recommend it. I think mine was around $2 or $3, so it's an inexpensive tool that I've used so many times. It's also great just to have a second ruler on hand. I used to have this Cricut ruler that I loved that was like 6 inches, and I could, you know, do like smaller measuring. But this one's great for longer pieces, and easy to find the center point of a page when you're trying to put something down. So here I'm putting in the second part of the title, and these stickers I've never used before, so I'm glad I'm starting to use them. They're definitely not my style, but I like how they're brush letters, but also not brush letters at the same time. So I'm going to lay those down again, use my T-square ruler, and I did have to go back and glue all these down, so it was super annoying, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure they were secure. There is one floral piece I did not use, but I plan on using it on a card, just to make sure I don't let it sit at my desk too long, because then I definitely will not use it. So this is what I came up with. I put a little floral by the E, just to tie in more of that color. The background paper is fairly neutral. It's got the light pink, and then the grays and the whites and the light green to sort of match. But I thought it was a busy background, but I also liked how it looked. Next, I am moving on to decorating my page with sequins. I had this idea for the wood veneer tag I had out to fill it with sequins, and you'll see me do that later on once I finish some of the decoration. And right now I'm working with confetti cake because I like the light yellow color that's in there, and this is perfect for birthday layouts, by the way. And it reminds me of, I just had my birthday last week, and it just reminded me of cake and all that, so it looks delicious, and it reminds me of exactly like funfetti cake. So now I am going to fill in the little butterfly here with sequins, and I'll show you that in the close-ups as well because it looks very interesting. It didn't turn out the way I thought it would because I've seen some of the other Sparklers team members fill their items in, not necessarily wood veneer, but fill an item in with sequins, and it just packs such a punch. But this is more of a subtle texture look, which I also like. And I had used my tweezers in there to help guide them in, because it was kind of difficult to squeeze them in, but it did work out pretty perfectly. They didn't have to overlap way too much, so I'm excited for how that turned out. And then I'm also going to sprinkle the sequins about, and I'm always using my heart dish, which I've been trying to find a replacement online so you guys could be able to use something like this, because I find it very convenient when doing my sequins. But I haven't been able to find anything that's not crazy expensive or too large, because this is a very small size. It fits right in the palm of your hand very nicely, at least my hands. I don't know if I have large hands or not, but I think it fits nicely in your hand, and it's just one of those things. Now I'm using some of the butterflies and some of the pink sequins from the baby butterfly sequin collection. And I think I forgot to mention, but I did use the Flora #1 by Cartabella sticker sheet for the word Anne, so I put an emotional goodbye. I did use the light pink stickers because they matched the background perfectly, and I liked how they blended in. So here's some close-ups. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to use Caitlin15 on your next order for 15% off. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!